realm of history. Tonight we are here for Chapter 5 live review session. We got a couple of exciting things coming your way. First off, let me know that you're here in the comments, but please do wait to ask questions until I go through some of the key terms and figures. I think that might alleviate some of the repetitiveness. So maybe I'll answer your question in the time period that I go through those. So let's wait until question and answer session to actually post your questions, but please do let me know that you're here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I've been asked by my students to ask for you to subscribe and like this video. I think that might somehow help out the algorithm. But nonetheless, let's take a look at our agenda for tonight. It might be a little bit altered. We're going to take a look at some key advice like we always do. I have a very limited selection of key terms and figures tonight. We don't have to worry about short answer. We don't have to worry about AP. We will go into question and answer session, but we are going to have a little adjustment. We're going to have the Realm Hunger Games tonight. So hopefully our representatives from second hour, Master Luke S. and Duke B, are going to be on. Third hour, we got John B. and Guy D. Fifth hour, we got Tristan O. and E. Marshall. Sixth hour, we got Sadie and Carly. Seventh hour, we got Lily and Ava G. Eighth hour, we got Kyle B. and John K. Hopefully they are ready for the time period when we get there. That's going to come after our selected key terms, figures, and places. So be ready for that. Okay, some key advice for you, pretty similar to what I generally talk about each week. You really want to write down some important things from this session. I've been looking at the review sheets that I get, and the students that write things down from this session seem to do really well in the quiz papers. I would then tonight, tomorrow morning, read through your outline several times through. You don't have to worry about AMSCO this week at all, but I would definitely read those outlines. I think that's really important. My advice to you is that what you should really do is take a look at what are the terms, the figures, the places, the key ideas on your review sheet. When you find any of those in your notes, highlight that, circle it, but don't just read like about that term. Read above and below. Read the context above it and below it to help you really master what you really should know about the entire ideology of that content. Okay, now pray for the right things, right? Remember, this quiz tomorrow is 20 points out of 500. It's not the end all be all. So when you're praying, I don't think it's appropriate to ask the good Lord for a good quiz score, but rather when you think about the quiz, you should really focus on asking the good Lord for guidance to do the best that you possibly can. Guidance to use your talents and abilities to the fullest. I think that would be the most useful way to pray regarding school and education. Number 3, you're going to need to be here now. This week is a tough week because Spirit Week. We're dressing up in different costumes. We're having all this different fun. And this is when be here now really has to translate. You got to be able to separate like all that fun time during seminar to channeling it in when you need to, when you're in AP World History class, right? So when you enter the realm, you need to pop in, be here now, making sure that you're ready to go. Number 4, make sure that you are thanking your parents. Obviously, they have done a great deal for you. And a lot of the good Lord's blessings are thanks and gratitude to them as well. So make sure you say thank you, be grateful, express your gratitude. If you need to go do that now, like I always say, go do that. It's probably more important than anything that I'm going to tell you or say to you tonight. And then number 5, I took off the short answer. I took off the AP. Well, that doesn't mean it's not going to be a challenge. You got 40 questions. I'm telling you, some of the matchings and some of the multiple choice are going to be difficult. So you need to rise to the occasion. You got to remember that challenges are good. They're going to make you stronger, make you a better student, make you a better person, give you that fortitude that you need for the future. Okay, on to some of our key terms, figures, concepts, so we say. The first one tonight is the term polis. Now, polis was very important because the Greek peoples lived in city-states. So this was the Greek word for city-state, and it was the fundamental political unit of ancient Greece. Moving on down our list, I'm looking to select like ones that a lot of people asked me about in class today. Classical art was one. It's Greek art. and it focused on ideal beauty, not real beauty. So when you look at Greek art, the structures, the sculptures, the paintings that you might find, mostly ideal. Six pack of abs, right? Perfect facial structure, perfect musculature. So it's not reality. It did have a lot of balance, proportion, and order in their sculpture. And so those are some of the key characteristics of Greek classical art. Next one that a lot of people had questions about came from the end of section 2. It's called the Delian League. It's an alliance of several Greek city-states to prevent future outside invasions. And it was really created in response to the Persian Wars. The Persian Wars were an outside invasion on Greece, starting with the Battle of Marathon. So that's something that you really want to consider there. Hellenistic Greece. A lot of people were confused about Hellenistic Greece versus Hellenistic. Not that big of a deal. Basically, Hellenistic Greece talks about the geographic regions conquered and controlled by Alexander, such as Greece, Macedonia, Egypt, Persia, parts of India. Hellenistic simply refers to the blending and mixing of those cultures, mostly taking place in Alexandria, Egypt. Now on to a little bit of philosophy. Stoicism is the first philosophy that we talked about in section 5. It's a school of philosophy or a school of belief that argued the world is controlled by God or gods, and that people should live lives in harmony with the natural laws of the gods. So basically, the idea of Stoicism is never to really get too involved in money or greed or power, but rather understand your area, your basic your basic position in the world, and it's basically to live under the harmony and the laws of God. So not getting too much into power or money, so we say, keeping everything at a level of moderation. The opposite of that is Epicureanism. They believe that the world is made of atoms, and the only things that are real are those that can be perceived by the five senses. And so when you think about Epicureans, they want to participate in pleasure-seeking things like good food or good music, things of that nature. All right, on to a couple of key figures. The first one is Pericles. Pericles was one of the democratic leaders of Athens. He had 3 goals for Athens, and they're really important to understand. Number 1, he wanted to strengthen Athenian democracy. One of the ways that he wants to go about strengthening Athenian democracy was to actually pay government employees. Prior to this, the people who were serving in government were volunteers. So by paying people or increasing the public payroll is what you call that, you're basically going to create more ownership. You're going to have people working harder. And then you can have some rich people, but also some poor people who wouldn't have been able to volunteer, but they could spend their time doing this if they're going to get paid. Number 2, he wants to expand and defend the empire. The only way he's going to do that is to focus on the military. Number 3, he wants to glorify Athens with art and building. So fine sculptures, big buildings, statues, things that are going to bring people into Athens, kind of like tourism. Now we're getting into some of our scientists and mathematicians, starting with Archimedes. Archimedes accurately calculated pi and invented many things. One of the things the book talked about was a pulley system to move heavy and large objects, for example. Your boy Aristarchus argued that the sun is larger than the earth and that the planets actually revolve around the sun. He was way ahead of his time with that thought. He was right, by the way. Eratosthenes came up with an accurate estimate of Earth's circumference. He was only about 5,000 miles off, which is really impressive without modern tools and satellite images. Okay, I hope those were helpful. If I didn't answer your questions, we'll have question and answer session coming up very soon. But right now, we're going to play for 1 point extra credit, the first edition this year of the Realm Hunger Games. So let me explain to you how this is going to work. I'm gonna say a question out loud. Okay, I'm gonna say a question out loud. I'm not going to have it on the screen. You have to listen to the question if you're one of the participants, and depending on if you know the answer, you need to be the first to type it into the chat. The first correct answer typed into the chat from one of our representatives will gain the point for that question. Okay, there's going to be 6 questions. So whatever class answers the most questions correctly will be our winners tonight. Now, with that being said, if you're not a class representative, you should not be flooding the chat. And what I'll say is, you know how we do yes and in our review games in class? If you get in the chat and disrupt the chat during the questions, then what will happen is I will give you a violation, right? And so if your person answers correctly, then you will lose the point, and it'll be given to somebody else. So that's basically how the Hunger Games works online. You have to be a quick typer. You have to also know your stuff really, really well. So get ready. Here we go. All right, I'm looking at the comments. You should all be checking this out. Here we go. The first question is, name the battle that Phidippides played a role in. I'm watching the chat. Still waiting. No response just yet. Oh boy, a lot of them came in all at the same time. John Brown, winner, marathon. Yes, he was first at 9:12. So round 1 goes to John Brown. And he is representing Third Hour. So Third Hour is on the board. Well done, sir. All right, here we go. So Third Hour is in the lead right now. And we're going to go to our next question. Let's not flood the chat and spam the chat, people. I don't know who Jim Dim is, but that's pretty funny. Number 2, this key figure had a code of laws similar to the strict nature of Hammurabi's code. T. Oatman with Draco is correct. So that's going to go. T. Oatman is representing Fifth Hour. So Fifth Hour is on the scoreboard. Well done, T. Oatman. Okay, everybody has the right answer. They're just not the first into the chat. So it's a little bit tough. You got to be quick with it. Come on. I'm going to ban this guy. That's it. Whoever's Sir Ducky is out. Sir Ducky, goodbye. Inappropriate. Okay, let's go to our next question, number 3. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Somebody says somebody was before Oatman. Oh, John Brown was in first. John Brown did get it again. So I'm sorry, I made a mistake. John Brown actually got it again. I missed that because of Jim Dim in there. See why you don't flood the chat? John Brown, Third Hour. So right now, if Third Hour gets, well, Third Hour is in the clear lead. I'm sorry I made that mistake. Sign of weakness by me. All right, that's been corrected. Brown was correct. Brown was correct. Okay, here we go. Next question is question number 3. This key battle involved the 300 Spartans. This key battle involved the 300 Spartans. All right, I'm still waiting. Looks like Luke S. Correct. Luke S. with the Battle of Thermopylae. That's correct. I see what you're saying there. So Luke S., that's going to be from Second Hour representing. So Second Hour is now on the board. I believe I got that one right. Yes, all of you are getting the right answer, just a little bit late. All right, this is fun. Seeing what happens here. We got a tight battle. Question number 4. Question number 4, everyone. Here we go. This was the only major naval battle mentioned on the review sheet. The only major naval battle mentioned on the review sheet. I'm waiting for the answer. I'm looking at the chat. Luke S. ties the ball game with Salamis. That's correct. Luke S. representing second hour. It's a tie ball game. 2 for third hour, 2 for second hour. Let's see how this shakes down. We got 2 questions left. Wow. Where's the rest of the classes? What is going on here? Okay. Next question. Here we go. Question number 5. This guy's work forms the basis for modern geometry classes today. This guy's work forms the basis for modern geography classes today. Oh my, Luke S. again with Euclid. That's correct. Luke S. representing second hour gives them the lead. It's 3-2 with Luke S. representing second hour going up with the lead 3-2. Wow, he's a baller. He's a baller. Final question. Let's see what happens. It could be a tie ball game. And if that's the case, we'll have to go to a bonus round between the 2 teams that are tied. Here we go. Pay attention. Name Alexander the Great's tutor. Luke S., the clear victory, Aristotle. Second hour claims the victory in the first realm Hunger Games. Well done, Luke S., balling out of control. Second hour, the clear winners. Second hour +1 on tomorrow's quiz paper. Thanks, everybody, for participating. Pretty interesting stuff. And at this time, we will go into question and answer session. Any questions that you guys have that you want me to answer, go ahead and feel free to ask at this time. That was fun. That was pretty impressive too. All right, let's get to the questions now, man. Okay. Who is Darius? All right. Well, there's 2 Dariuses. One is regular Darius on your sheet. That's Darius the First. And then there's also a Darius the Third. So I'll talk about both of them. The first Darius is the Persian ruler that led the Persians on an invasion into Athens, and they fought at the Battle of Marathon. The second Darius is Darius the Third. Not Darius II, but Darius the Third. So the second Darius on your review sheet. He was the Persian king when Alexander the Great invaded and conquered Persia. That's really what you would want to know about those 2. Let's see. No, misspellings in the Hunger Games are not going to count against you. So don't think that would be the case. No. Hi, John. How are you? Who is Xerxes? All right. So Xerxes, a couple of people have the question on Xerxes. Basically, Xerxes was the Persian king that led a second portion of the Persian Wars, and he invaded Greece again and fought first against the Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae, defeated the 300 Spartans, and then went on to fight the Spartans and the rest of the Greeks at another battle called Plataea, which is on your list. So he was Darius's son. So he wanted to avenge his father's loss at Marathon and invaded Greece a second time. Yes, I have seen Breaking Bad, Master John. I have, yes. It's an interesting show. All right. Got a lot of questions coming my way. What is Epicureanism? So I went over that in the terms that I was going over. So that one's one I'm not going to go over again. What is the Ionian Sea? Okay, no problem. The Ionian Sea was important to Greek trade. It's the sea that is in between Greece and Italy. Okay, so it's to the west of Greece. And then there was also the Aegean Sea, which was to the east of Greece. So that's basically when you look at the map in the book when you get home, that's what you're going to see. Who is Cleisthenes? Okay, Cleisthenes was a democratic reformer. Basically, what he did was he kind of defined, all right, what is a Greek citizen? And he said, all right, to vote, well, I'm going to let you vote, but to vote, you have to be a Greek citizen. And for him, his stipulation said that to be a Greek citizen, you had to, number one, okay, be born in Athens. Number two, you had to be male. Number three, you had to be free, so you couldn't be a slave. And then number four, you had to own land or property. So those were the only people who were considered citizens under Cleisthenes, and those are the only people who could vote. All right, Jim Dim's got to go, man. Jeez, OP. Jim Dim's gone. I just saw it. What are the main points? Who's Solon? All right, Solon was another one of the democratic reformers. One of the things that he does is he outlaws debt slavery. There was a system of debt slavery put in place by Draco. He outlaws that. And then he divides people into social classes based on as to where they were from. Okay, seems like my internet is getting a little choppy, guys. I apologize. Carly, good question. So, what are the main points we need to know for each battle? Well, what you'll need to know is like who fought, what type of battle was it? Was it on land? Was it at sea? Who won? Basically, that's really what you need to know right there about those battles. Do we have to distinguish the differences between all the key figures? Yeah, definitely. You got to know your key figures. There's going to be multiple matching sections that are going to make you be able to distinguish between the key figures. Yes. You need to know your key figures very well. Okay, next, let's see. All right, here's a question. You're not going to have to put anything on a map. It's just multiple choice and matching tomorrow. So no map. We will have some maps later in the year that we have to label things and locate, but not for this quiz. Okay, Master Dean, what is aristocracy? So aristocracy is a form of government where rule is based on the control of several wealthy landowning families. Several wealthy landowning families would be ruling at the same time, working together. Well, Mycenae was the capital city of the Mycenaeans. And so that would be you do need to know it was talked about in the book that it had a very large stone defense wall. So that was one of the key things that you will need to know about it. All right, Draco, basically a very strict democratic reformer of Athens, had a very, very harsh code of laws in which, like, most crimes were punishable by death. And he also put into play what's called debt slavery. So if you if you owed someone money and you couldn't pay it off, you'd have to serve as their slave for a certain amount of time. Thursday? Ice Spice wig? Sure. Yeah, I think it's yeah, I like Ice Spice. Yeah. Ice Spice and Taylor Swift version of Karma's pretty cool. Okay. Archimedes. Archimedes? I think I already went over Archimedes. I said that he accurately calculated pi and made many other inventions. Yeah, there's a word bank. It's multiple choice and matching. Um, will there be a question on every topic on the review sheet? No, I wouldn't say that. There'll probably be some things that aren't on the review sheet on there. There'll be some things on the review sheet that aren't on the quiz. You know, you're gonna have to pretty much figure that out. A tyrant is someone who was a powerful individual that could at times or in a certain situation seize control of government by appealing to the common people. I gave you some examples in class, like what is something you'd like to change about school? And you gave me an example. And I was like, well, then you start to appeal to the people, you start to make them like you and your ideas, and then you go further and eventually overthrow the government. Okay, oligarchy is not an aristocracy. So oligarchy is ruled by a few powerful individuals. All right. Aristocracy, you could have hundreds of people ruling, okay, because it's entire families. Oligarchy is just you, Jacob, and Dom ruling, okay? Three or four people, maybe five, maybe eight, but individuals ruling, not their families. That's the difference. All right, we got time for a few more questions. I said I kind of wanted to keep it around 30 minutes. I see there's some repeat questions or kind of questions that are irrelevant, so I'm not going to go over those ones. So if you have any like real questions that haven't been covered already, please ask, and I will definitely go over the answers. I'm going to wait for about 1 or 2 more minutes. A lot of people are asking about the Realm Hunger Games questions. No, these are questions that I just wrote to kind of make it a little bit more challenging. So those are not questions from the actual quiz. No. Jude, I already answered that, buddy. I already answered that just a few minutes ago. Hunger Games leader today was Master Luke in second hour 1. Guma guy. Guma guy. I've been meaning to talk to you. You keep skipping your crew like every day. You owe me like 5 weeks, Master Guma guy. But the Peloponnesian War was the war between Athens and Sparta. And that was pretty much what Section 3, a big chunk of Section 3 was all about. Yes, everyone in second hour gets to put +1 on their quiz tomorrow. And I'm really happy that they won, because what you guys got to understand is that the second hour class, they're the first to take my quiz, so they have to see it the first time. All the rest of you, you guys get to basically, get the answers, the questions from your friends, which is cheating, but I know that that goes on. All right. Let's see. Evan, who's Philip II? That's Alexander the Great's dad, great king of Macedonia. He started really putting them on the map militarily. Hey, there's our mystery person, Caroline Rose. A suit tour? No. All right. But it's nice to see you. Can you give us some more information about who you are? We're trying to figure out. We know you're from either Grayling or Gaylord, Michigan, but that's about it. Mr. Lango, we have some evidence that you need to show you that shows a tie. Well, screenshot them, send them to me in an email. I'll check it out later, but right now it's second hour one. Spirit Week's a long week. Today is day one. I mean, I'm proud of the sophomore girls. You guys balled, but it's a long week. There's a lot more events coming your way. So my skincare routine, I don't have a skincare routine. Come on, folks. Let's keep it realistic here. All right. I see some of these questions are getting a little bit outlandish. So I'm going to cut it there. It's 32 minutes. I think that's a good time, right? I said between 30 and 35. Hey, my final advice is to read your notes, quiz yourself off of the review sheet. If you want to watch my video lessons, please do. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. All these people who are new, if you didn't subscribe, hey, please subscribe if you're getting something out of this. Put on the notifications thing and have a wonderful night. Make sure you say thank you to your parents and pray for the right things. I really appreciate all of you, my students of the realm that are here. The goofballs that are coming in, they won't last. They won't last. Caroline's welcome. She has not been a distraction. We like to learn who you are. Let us know. Other than that, have a wonderful evening and good luck on the quiz tomorrow.